Have you ever been told that you need to have a sense of urgency and then turn around and have someone tell you you need to be more patient? Frustrated? I know it's confusing. Today's topic is how to maintain urgency while practicing patience. My name is Suzanne Hart, and welcome to the Influencer's Journey show. The big question is, how does the average entrepreneur like you and I start with limited time, zero marketing budget, and little to no presence on the internet, get our authentic message into the marketplace and become a person of influence? The other question is, what must we learn? And most importantly, who are we required to become to magnetically attract our divine client and build a loyal following? All right. Well, I'm so glad you're here this morning. I am flying solo. My girl Tria is hosting another event on our behalf. So that's kind of how we roll. So, I love this topic because it is one that I have considered, struggled with, didn't understand for the longest time. To have urgency, what exactly is it? I remember when I thought I was doing this thing called urgency, I was practicing urgency. How it looked and how it showed up for me was I would tell people I'm making things happen. I would try to convince people, particularly when I was doing sales, I would try to convince people that they needed to do what I was doing. They needed to buy. I would force things along. I would try to control the outcome. I would put pressure on people and nothing happened. And I thought I was having urgency. And really, what was happening was I was just trying to convince people to do things my way, do things at my time, do things at my pace. And then people would tell me, you've got to be patient. And I'd be like, I don't get it. How do I get to be patient and urgent at the same time? It's so confusing. So, what we're going to spend time unpacking today is exactly that topic. How do you create urgency and still have patience? How do you do it? So, as you jump on, please let us know who you are and where you are joining us from. What I'd also like to know is what brought you out today? What do you do? And who are you called to serve? Put those comments in the comment section. Also, what about this topic attracted you? What about this topic got you excited? What do you want to learn and hear? And if you have questions, definitely drop them in the comment section. The other thing I'd like you to do is if you are watching at the replay, first of all, hashtag replay. And then after you do that, let us know who you are, where you're joining us from, and who you serve. Now, you might be asking, I'm listening to the replay. Why would I do that? Well, this is the thing. This is our opportunity to connect and network. We call it virtual networking. And you never know who's going to go back into the stream, look at the comments and see your information and say, ooh, I've got to connect with this person. I know we go and we check all the comments, we answer the comments, and we love it when someone has hashtag replay and let us know that they've been listening to the replay and what they liked about it. So definitely get into the conversation. Comment, comment, comment. It's so key. It's so important. All right. So what are we going to do? What are we going to do to get this started? I'm so excited for this topic. So let us get this party going. Let us get this party started. So for those of you that are just joining, welcome back to the Influencer Journey show. Today's topic is how to maintain urgency while practicing patience. And my name is Suzanne Hart. And I am so excited that you are here today. So let's dive in. And the first thing I want to know is what exactly is urgency? Right? What is it? And when people would tell me I needed to be urgent, I needed to have urgency, I really thought I needed to force a process. I needed to make things happen. I needed to push things along. And I realized over time that that's actually not what they're talking about. Now, if you know me, I tell you all the time that we create in language. So when we do not understand a word, we assume what it is, and we assume what it is, and we also kind of make things up. So this is what I want you to do now as we're going. I'm going to ask you to just put in the comment section what you think urgency is. I'm going to wait. I'm going to give you a moment. What do you think urgency is? What do you think it is? I'm going to give you some time. All right. So what'd you put? What was urgency to you? Well, I want to unpack it for you. And you know I love word equations. So the first thing I'm going to say is urgency is a hunger. It's a strong desire for something plus initiative over time. Now, what I mean by that, what I mean by a hunger, it's a passion, it's just an excitement, it's an energy, it's something that people can feel when you're in how you're showing up. It is not force, it is excitement. So I want you to think of it as the speed to which we create outcomes and increase our value. So when I thought of urgency, I thought of just getting things done and making people do things. But it's actually all about how I'm showing up and what people believe about me. It is my energy and my passion. It is, you know, how much, let me try to put this in words, how much value I bring to the table and how much I believe in that value and believe that people want to be part of wherever I'm going, what I am up to. It is a mindset. Now, this is the interesting thing about belief and passion. Urgency is a passion that has us so believable and so focused and so intentional that we actually make things occur. That is what urgency is. So I want you to think about that for a moment. So for me, what I really began to realize is that when I had urgency and when I showed up with a high level of belief, it was almost like I became contagious. And it wasn't about me forcing people to do, it was people getting swept up in the energy that I was putting forth, the vision I was casting, but my excitement about where I was going and my laser focus. So that's the first thing when we're talking about urgency. It is a hunger, it's a passion, but it has initiative. And what I mean by initiative is you're laser focused on where you're going and you are creating and initiating action consistently and persistently. That is what urgency is. So let's talk a little bit about, you know, how do you know you are acting with a sense of urgency? How do you know that? Well, first of all, there's a few things that need to be in place. The first thing for me when I'm acting with a sense of urgency, I am I've got a plan. and I'm focused on that plan. Now, why is an action plan so important? Because you see, most people, when they think of urgency, they think of forcing other people and forcing outcomes. That's not where urgency lives. This is the interesting thing. Urgency lives inside of you. Urgency lives in how you show up. So, in order to create urgency, I needed to figure out what I had control over. And what I knew was I didn't have control over the outcome. So, when I forced people and I looked at people and I attempted to get them to do something, thinking I was acting with a sense of urgency, I was in convincing mode, I was being forceful, I was even being pushy, and people would have then begin to avoid me. When I began to act with a sense of urgency, the difference was I became clear on what I could control. I became clear on what I had initiative over, the things that were in my sphere of influence. So, why I said I started with an action plan, because an action plan let me lay out the actions and goals that I could commit to doing. Now, this is where urgency lived. Once I did my action plan, I actually put a schedule on my calendar and I put dates and times that related to the outcomes I desired. Dates and times that related to the outcomes I desired. And it was really that simple. So when I started acting with this sense of urgency, what began to happen was I began to push actions that I had control over. So I was moving from action to action, goal to goal, outcome to outcome. And what I began to realize was that I was moving the pace of things. I was moving things along at a rapid pace, at a quick pace, at at an important pace. And that was what was beginning to have to really create initiative for me and to have me have this sense of urgency. So this is a piece that I really want you to get, is that urgency one is what you can control, but there's one other thing in terms of how you know you're acting with a sense of urgency. You're living in this thing called possibility, and possibility means that you have casted a vision worthy of your life. You have laid out a plan, and now you believe in what's possible. And you're acting like what you desire is already on its way for you to you, and you need to catch up. You need to become that person, and you need to do it as quickly as possible. That's where urgency lives. So it's not just having your action plan and initiating action, it is also living with the belief that what you are going after is already yours and you almost have to catch it. And therefore you're in action or in a pace that has a sense of quickness, of urgency, of intention, of excitement, and you're creating this energy around you that has people get excited. This is the thing. It's all about you in this moment and what you're able to generate, the passion, the belief, the excitement, and the focused laser action that you're able to generate. The other thing about urgency, there's their element of fun to it. Because have you ever met someone who is having so much fun that is just really taking things on, and they 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 just have this energy of belief that you find contagious. So my best example is when I was building my network marketing team. Now we're talking team, and I'm building and I'm creating a team. And what I realized was that it was my urgency and my belief that attracted people. So I got laser focused on where I was going. And when people asked me, I would passionately tell them that I have a vision of having a house in the hills overlooking the ocean. I have this vision of time freedom, and I have found a way to achieve it that anyone can do if they want to go on the journey with me. The other thing I would do is I would become absolutely laser focused and I would initiate the actions that really just created this momentum for me. And then I got excited. I got excited because my actions created results that fed me. And the next action created more results that fed me. And then I began to believe in what I decided was possible for me. What I casted that vision, and my belief began to become contagious. And what happened when it became contagious was that it began to move, and I began to have people want to be part of it, and that energy of me and other people joining increased that sense of urgency. Because what I was doing was I casted a vision, I created energy, and I was in this feedback loop that was building my belief, helping me become who I needed to be, and there was energy in here. This was the thing. I wasn't in force, I wasn't convincing, and I wasn't pushing. I was actually creating this energy that said, "You've got to be on my team. You've got to be part of what I'm doing. You've got to participate in this." So, the next thing I want to talk about is what creates your urgency? Why do some people have urgency and some people don't? This was my biggest observation, and it's been my biggest observation throughout my time in this process. So let's talk about what I mean. So, have you ever noticed that some people, when they begin to do something, they just lock and load and they've got laser focus and they've got things to do, and other people don't? The best way I can tell this, and I told this story in my book, I remember when I was building in network marketing, there was this woman by the name of Lynn. And Lynn came into our company, and she had actually just stopped building in another company. And and her check was gone. That's how it works in network marketing. When you move, oftentimes you lose your stream of income. But she had a family to support. She had a mortgage. She had all the things that we all had. And she got in and she began to build with a sense of urgency that was filled with passion, excitement, and it became contagious. Why? Because she strongly believed in why she had moved and what she was doing. She strongly believed in what she had. She strongly believed in her ability to achieve success. She strongly believed that what she had decided was hers was already hers. And she knew she just had to create the momentum and she just had to become attractive and people would join her. But this was what fueled her urgency. This woman knew the cost of not achieving her goal. I want you guys to get this. She understood the cost of what would happen if she did not achieve her goal. So let me talk a little bit about this. You see, what began to happen was that she knew that if she didn't achieve her goal in a defined period of time, she wouldn't be able to pay her mortgage. She wouldn't be able to feed her family. The people that depended on her wouldn't get the things they needed. That was her urgency, and it fueled her passion. It fueled her determination, and it created an energy. And her energy created this thing called momentum. And momentum is what people get when they believe and they take massive action. Now, what I also noticed were the people who had no urgency. They never burned their bridge, their boats in the water. They always had one foot in one thing and one foot in the other. They felt security and stability. Therefore, they didn't have a sense of urgency because they didn't know the cost. And so, what would happen to those people was they never ever committed. They never ever really laid out an action plan. And if they did, they never actually stepped in it with initiative and moving from goal to goal. They never did that. Why? Because there wasn't a reason to. You see, urgency is born of a belief in do or die. It's a belief in I cannot fail. It is when you believe that this is the thing, the only thing. It's when you have a plan A and you don't have a plan B. It's when you put you put both feet in one place and you laser focus. It's when you close all the back doors, shut all the windows, and you say, this is the one path. And I'm going down this path at a rapid pace until I achieve it. That is when you have urgency. See, urgency is an energy that you create when you have a hunger for where you're going, when you believe it is already yours, and you know you must produce results like your life depends on it. And urgency creates how you show up in the world. So when someone shows up with a sense of urgency, we feel it on them. There's a vibration to them. There's an attractiveness to them. There's an energy to them. There's something going on inside them that just pulls us. When someone shows up with urgency, we want to know, what are they so excited about? What are they so passionate about? What are they so intense about? When someone shows up with urgency, we want to know, what's the vision that's pulling them? And is that vision for me? When someone shows up with urgency, we want to know why they have no doubt, why they're so certain. When someone shows up with urgency, we feel it, and we actually want that feeling too. Urgency is contagious. Urgency is energy. Urgency is caused by something deep inside you and a pull towards something. And you know that failure is no longer an option. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask you, what are you taking away? Put in the comment section. I see you, Chrissy girl. I see you, Adeline. What's your one takeaway that you're getting as you're listening to this conversation? What are you going to do for yourself? What are you going to take away? What take an action? I'm waiting. I want to see the comments. I know for myself, when I created a sense of urgency and people began to ask me, how do you have that energy? How do you have that sense of urgency? It really made me start to think about it. I love it, Chrissy. She's saying, I need to take my feet out of both boats. Absolutely. Burn the boat in the harbor, girl. Stand on where you planted your flag and decide, this is it, and we are going to be successful. And then take action. Like that goal that you have is pulling you. That vision that you have is pulling you. So this is what I learned around creating urgency, because people started asking me, how do you create it? And I say to people, I work from goal to goal. So every day when I wake up, it really is, what's the one thing I must achieve today to pull me towards where I'm going? What are the two things I must achieve today to pull me to where I'm going? And I'm laser focused on that goal until completed. And all my goals have timelines, and it's usually a day or a week. And goals are the things I can control and I know I can do. And I work from goal to goal to goal. This is the interesting thing. When I work from goal to goal to goal, it keeps me out of my head and it keeps me out of those things that take me off course. However, there's nothing that feeds my energy more than being able to check something off when I've accomplished it, being able to um, end the day going, "Oh my gosh, I've completed what I want to," and move into the next day with 2 or 3 more things to focus on. So I move from outcome to outcome, goal to goal, and that creates the energy because it's like I'm being pulled along by my intention, my initiative. The other thing is, and this is the key, is I keep my why and my target, my vision in front of me. So every day I wake up, I read my vision and I ask myself, why am I doing this? And those two things pull me forward. This is what I can say to you. If you and I don't have a vision and a why worthy of your life, and the why is not money, it is what money gives you access to. It's what the outcome gives you access to. It is what you can do once you achieve the outcome. If you and I don't have a why urgent enough and worthy of our life, you won't create urgency and you'll fall back into convincing, forcing, pushing things along, and it won't be fun. But when you believe in where you're going and you have a why worthy of your life, it'll get you past the challenges. It'll create a reason for you to passionately get up every morning and it'll pull you into action. But this is the key thing. You know, they say that a goal without a date, a goal without a number is just a dream. The other thing that really creates urgency is, how do I know when I've achieved something? How do I know when I've achieved something? How do I know when I've achieved something? What's the date and time that this needs to be done by? And how do I know I've gotten there? When you're creating urgency, your schedule is planned with dates and times that pull you forward and give you no time to get distracted. You're down and you're focused and you're being pulled by those dates and times and outcomes that you have set for yourself. And when you look up, you wonder, how did I get here? It's those dates and times. But the final thing I want to say to you is not just the dates and times, it's the energy to which you do this. So this is the last thing I will say to you. Urgency is everything about the how. In mindset, we say that there's this thing called emotional mastery. It is our ability to manage our energy. Urgency, when you want it to be contagious and you want it to create that momentum, it is all about the how you choose to do things. So I could set my targets and goals and go into it and look at them as hard, look at them as challenging, look at them as, oh my gosh, I got to do this today. That's not going to create urgency because I'm going to be in a different energy. I'm going to be the energy of hard. I'm going to be the energy of difficult. I'm going to be the energy of, oh my goodness, this is going to be so challenging. I don't want to do this. I'm going to be the energy of avoidance because that's what happens when we don't want to do something. Or I can shift my how and my energy by going, I'm excited about what I'm about to learn today. And I take every goal on with a passion and a purpose because this is what I know. Failure is going to give me something to pick up. And we said this last week. Then this goal is going to pull me forward. I'm going to learn something. I'm going to grow. I'm going to expand. I'm going to transform. And I am in the process of becoming the person who is going to be able to hold the vision that I have. And I have a timeline for getting there. And the timeline is what pulls me forward. But this is the real key. Urgency is less about the outcome, but about who you become on the journey. Because the more you feed your passion, the more you feed your belief, the more you feed your energy, the more momentum you create, and the more attractive you become. And the more people begin to say, I want to be part of what you're doing. Whether you're building a team, whether you're building, um, whether you're selling a program, it's your energy and your excitement and the pace to which you're moving forward that will create the momentum that pulls you. You see, why people who are successful understand urgency is at certain point, urgency creates this tipping point, and then you're in the wave of momentum. And it's that wave of momentum that feeds your urgency. Because when you hit that wave of momentum, people are joining your programs, people are joining your team, people are asking you questions, people want to know what you're up to, people want to know your why, people are excited about your vision, and now you've created it. Remember, I said urgency is not about who you pull along. Urgency is about what you create inside who you be. Urgency is about how you show up. Urgency is the key to your success. It all starts with who you choose to be in the world and how you choose to show up. So, that's what I want to leave you with. As you think through this, I want you to think, do I have my feet in two boats? Or have I decided this is the thing? I know when I was in network marketing and I had a job, I'd say the job is what pays my bills, but this here is what builds my dreams. And I focused on it. And then I had a date where I was going to quit my job. I remember walking in and telling my boss about the day that I was going to quit. My stomach was in knots. Why? Because I put myself in a situation where urgency was the only answer. I had 6 months to create the outcome I desired because after that, I wouldn't have had a job and there was no income coming in. I put myself in a state where urgency was the only thing. In order to have that happen, I had to believe that what I had decided was already mine. And then I acted like if I was about to claim it. And I moved focused with an energy of excitement, an energy of passion, an energy of certainty because I knew where I was going and I knew it was already mine. So let's see what we got in the comments. I see Chrissy girl. That's such a great comment. You need to take your feet out of both boats. Absolutely. Choose that thing and commit and believe it is already yours. Urgency is contagious. Be mindful of your inner circle. Oh, I love that. Yes. So surround yourself with people who will pull you forward and remind you of who you are in the world and where you're going. Great share. Work from goal to goal creates urgency and momentum. Yes, and goal to goal, and set goals and give them timelines and set it with urgency. This has to happen now. It has to happen this week. Thank you. Great info. I love that. Thank you. Urgency is less about the outcomes. Urgency is what creates your outcomes. Urgency has everything to do with who you be in the world, how you choose to show up, what you're choosing to create. And the other thing, as Chrissy Searle says, well, this got my heart rate way up. That's what happens when you have a sense of urgency, Chrissy, is when you have a sense of urgency and you speak and train with that energy, you help people's heart rate go up. They get excited. They catch whatever you've got. And sometimes they don't know why. Have you ever had someone call you and say, I don't know what you're up to, but I want to be a part of it? I don't know what you're doing, but tell me what's up. Man, your energy is moving. What's going on? You became contagious. And then you're beginning to create that momentum that can only happen when people join the journey with you. All right. So you have been listening to the Influencer's Journey Show. My name is Suzanne Hart. Our topic today was how to maintain urgency while practicing patience. Now, patience, I will say this to you. Patience is being able to focus on all the things I talked about and allowing it to happen. Patience is the surrender. Surrender to the process, but look at who you be, because this is the thing. Remember, we can't control the outcome. We can't control the date. What we can control is who you be in the process. Can you be energy? Can you be excitement? Can you be contagious? Can you be momentum? Can you be passion? Can you be all those things that create attraction? And then surrender to the process. And that's where patience comes in. My name is Suzanne Hart. You've been listening to The Influencer's Journey. Now, if you loved what you heard, I definitely want to invite you to tune in next week. What I will say to you is we are back here every Saturday, 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And until we meet again, please know you're brilliant. Please know you're oh so special. And the world is waiting for your unique gift. Blessings, and we will see you next week.